much forward to being your president. And hopefully at the end of 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or maybe even 8 years, you will say, so many of you worked so hard for us, but you will say that that was something that you really were very proud to do.
Trump wins, thousands take to the streets in several cities, including here in Baltimore, protesting the election of Donald Trump. Some arrests in New York and other cities for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Pepper spray used by police in Portland, Oregon. Many Americans feeling very shaky about the future of our country right now. Your reaction to all of it, Dan Rodericks.
A tragic development for the country. It's going to take the country a long time to accept Donald Trump as president.
Tyrone Keys.
For the past 8 years, we haven't hit 3% GDP. Now that we can get some economic growth going, these geriatric hippies and new school fools will have jobs, and they won't have time to protest.
Elizabeth Copeland.
The American people have spoken, and they are sick and tired of the political elite.
And Ted Venetoulas.
For the ones who are protesting, go on change.org and sign a petition. You might be able to change the election.
Really? To find out about that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Square Off, our post-election Square Off. I'm Richard Scher, and we're brought to you each and every Sunday at this time by the law offices of Peter Angelos. And for your serious legal matters, we urge you to pick up the phone in the morning and call 1-800-556-5522. Schedule your free consultation. We guarantee you'll be glad you did.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. Have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people.
Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
All right, Dan, kick it off. Go ahead.
All right, he wants to talk about unity and healing after spending the last 18 months dividing the country, running a vulgar campaign, offending people, insulting people, and now it's time to make nice, right? I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time accepting this admonition from Donald Trump that we all need to unite and come together.
Well, whether they accept it or not, the reality is that Donald Trump is the president designate of the United States. He will become the president in January, and it is in the interest of Americans. I believe you said it, Dan. I looked at some of the old shows of Square Off, and you encouraged people, and you were right then to come together and be Americans and understand that we have one president, and that while we might have differences with that president, it is up to us as Americans to move forward productively.
Okay, we can do that someday.
I agree with you then.
I don't think people are ready for that now. The country is divided. I've never seen the nation so polarized over a presidential election.
I think you're right, and I think it's fair to really highlight how the political rhetoric, it was so divisive, it was so angry, got him to a place where he actually could win not only the nomination, but the office of the presidency. It's not going to happen overnight that people are going to forget that. But his success is our success, and it's important to continue to echo Barack Obama's statements, Hillary Clinton's statements, that we are all Americans. We need to support and help our president steer our country in the right direction.
All right,
You know, I'm not sure you want to succeed the way he has succeeded, because Dan is right. He has split this country.
He hasn't split the country.
Yes, he has.
He hasn't. He was a voice for people who were in disagreement with most of the country.
Nothing to do with policy, just the way you treat people has been devastating. I have a daughter whom we've adopted from Guatemala. She's been crying the last 2 days. Yesterday, we took her down to the protest because we wanted to show her that you could protest peacefully in this country. And her question was, are they going to deport me?
Now, see,
now she is an American. Wait a minute. Don't get smug about
we're not going to do this time.
She is an American citizen.
It is up to you then.
Don't get smug on me.
No, we shouldn't minimize her fear. We shouldn't minimize her fear. We shouldn't minimize her fear.
Everybody stop.
It is up to you, Ted,
I want to hear the rest
as
of the
her
story.
father, to explain to her that because she is a legal citizen of the United States of
Instructing you
America,
how to be a
that
dad.
that will not happen. No, what I'm doing is I'm responding
He didn't
to his
finish.
assertion.
Well, he didn't finish the story.
Well, Ted tends to go on. I've got to jump in when I can. Thanks, Dan. Go ahead.
Hold on, Ty. We don't want to get personal. We
No,
want to have a nice,
we certainly
friendly
don't.
chat.
And that's why I will forgive you for calling me smug, but continue.
Do you think we haven't done that? Do you think for one moment we didn't sit down
I don't know
with
what
her
you've done.
Ty, let him speak.
and say, you are an American citizen, you really don't have to be concerned. But you know, when she went to school on Thursday, friends of hers were weeping because they didn't know whether they were going to face the same situation or their friends were going to face it, or their relatives were going to face it. This is disastrous. We've never seen this post-election activity. People all over the country, millions signing a petition to get the Electoral College to change things. 3 million
That's
people.
not even reality. That's
may
not reality,
It may
Ted.
not be a reality.
You know that's
Hold on,
not going
stop,
to happen.
Stop.
We'll get to it.
All right. What do you want to say?
I think,
Pull it
I
over
think
here a minute.
conservatives, Republicans, independents, whoever voted for Donald Trump for whatever reason that they had, we should not minimize our neighbors, our friends, our family members' fears based on the type of supporters who came out for Donald Trump. However, we have to continue to ensure people that we cannot believe the paranoia that there's going to be police officers kicking in doors, that Donald Trump is going to deport legal Americans, that he's going to hunt down Muslims. He's never, ever going to do that. He did not predict that he was going to
30
do
seconds,
that.
Dan.
And we
There's
should
no
make
reason
sure that
to believe that. There's no
Based
reason to
on what?
believe that he's going to govern with any level of decency or rationality or even within the law that we know. There's no reason to believe that yet.
But why do you believe
Because
he's
I
wrong?
take him
what
at
he
his word.
says.
I don't say that he spoke figuratively. I take him literally in
For
what he
those
said
who are here,
throughout the campaign.
undocumented
And there'll be
immigrants.
plenty of people who will hold him to the promises he's made.